Hello, beautiful people. I'm a little bit dressed up today, and I'm gonna be showing you all the books I read in January. And that's actually the second time I'm trying to film this part of the video, because the first time I didn't use microphone and audio is horrible, and I hope it works now. So let's start. The whole January vlog is a little bit random, as I didn't actually film any parts when I'm talking, just the random days in my life. So I think that this part about books I will divide into several small parts and put them in between all the days I actually filmed in January. I hope it's gonna make sense. Okay, let's start. First book, I have my laptop in front of me, by the way, because I do keep the library, as they call it, on my Notion, and so I have all the ratings and my thoughts about every book I read. And the first book I read was Pnin by Vladimir Nabokov. He's actually one of my favorite authors. But I didn't really like this book. I don't know, I feel like the main character, I just didn't feel any connection with him, and I would just feel a little bit pity towards him, and that's basically it. There is nothing special about this book, and yeah, I mean, it's still a piece of good literature, as everything what Nabokov did. But this was definitely not my favorite. And I think I had a TikTok about my favorite Nabokov books, and no, not all of Nabokov books, even similar to Lolita. Some of them are, but no, not most of them. So I gave this book 3 stars, which is actually not too bad because I'm quite picky with my books nowadays. And so 3 stars is not too shabby. And the second book, oh, there is Leo. Can you see him? I'm not actually sure that you ever been like formally introduced to my baby cat. So yeah, that's Leo Jean Chic. He is my precious baby, and he's gonna do something loud now, so I'll have to wait. Okay, so the second book of this year was Iris Murdoch, The Black Prince. And once again, Iris Murdoch is one of my favorite authors, and it's very hard to find any of her books, at least in English, in Serbia. And I was really happy to find this one. And again, like, I didn't really like the main character, but I still enjoyed the book. Yes, Leo. I still enjoy the book very much, as I just love Iris Murdoch. I love the way she builds up the story, and even so, I was not very interested in. Excuse me. I'm a little bit busy. Can I finish, please, and we go play? So I'm gonna share with you what I wrote right after finishing this book. During the whole reading time, I was confused either the main character is telling the truth or not. Almost all the things and events he describes seem out of touch in a way that he's making himself look better, and his actions do not align with the idea of him I was getting. And maybe that was the point of the book, that he's not very reliable in telling the actual story, and the ending actually kind of supports my idea, but I'm not gonna spoil it for you. So I want to read everything from Iris Murdoch, so I have zero regrets towards this book. I actually gave it 3.5 stars, which is, again, for me, this is a very good rating because I'm very picky. Okay, the next book was A Different Sea by Claudia McGree. Claudio? What's his name? Claudio McGree. Yeah. To be honest, I picked up this book because I liked the cover and I knew nothing about the author at that time, because sometimes I want to try something new and maybe something I'm not interested in, just to try it out, because maybe I'll find something nice. But that was not the case with this book, and I gave it 1.5 stars because I hated it, and it started very nicely. I was intrigued and I was looking forward to actually finding out what's going to happen next. But then it turned out to be such an annoying story, at least for me. And also, as a woman, I hated some parts of it also. So I don't think I'm gonna say anything else about this book. I didn't hate it. It's still a piece of literature, not the great one, but in my opinion, it's something okay, but just not for me. The next book is The Safe Keep, and I'm not gonna even attempt to try to pronounce her name because it's gonna be too bad. And this book got 2.5 stars. Yeah, I don't know. Beginning of this year wasn't that great for me, literary wise. And again, it started so good. I was so interested, but then it became too obvious, probably, and I don't really like books when I can immediately understand what's going to happen next. And what I loved about this book is the historical part of it. That was really fascinating, and I feel like it educated me a little bit on a specific topic. I'm not gonna share it with you because I think it's gonna spoil it a little bit. Where do you have to go? The next book was The Wanderlust by Danielle Steele. I never read anything from her before, and I don't think I will, because after finishing this book, I found out that Danielle Steele actually writes and publishes 7 books a year now, and I don't really like this, if you know what I mean. Actually, I hated it in the beginning because it started like a typical love story in a bad way, in the worst way possible, if I dare to say that. But actually, closer to the middle of the book, the plot twisted, and so many events started to happen. Like the craziest event, the ones I would never expect to happen in a book like that. And that's when I started to not love it, but like it at least. And again, the historical parts are incredible. Incredible. The main story itself is not the greatest, again, but I still like this book. It was interesting. And again, maybe it's just because I like the historical parts and it educated me a lot on some specific topics. But yeah, I still think it's quite nice. I gave it 3.5 stars, again, which is not too bad. Same as Iris Murdoch. So yeah, let's go to the next one. And the last book I read in January was The Magic of Belgrade by Momo Kapor. I think that's how you pronounce his name. I wanted to read this book for longest time. Why am I actually holding my microphone with my left hand when I could do this and actually show you the book like that? Okay, now we're gonna start doing that. Even so, that's the last book. Okay. The Magical Belgrade by Momo Kapor. I wanted to read this book for the longest time since I moved to Belgrade, which was almost a year ago. And this is a very popular book. You can buy it in any language here in bookstores. Locals are very proud of it. And I had love and hate relationship with it. Because I really loved some local things he was depicting. As I could understand it, I love when he would mention the street names, the coffee places or kafanas, restaurants I actually know of or I've been there, and it was very nice. I think it helped me to dive into the local Balkan culture a little bit more, and yeah, it was quite nice. But at the same time, I hated some parts of it. For me, having good memories about the past and having this negative nostalgia when you're really annoyed of something what's happening now, it's a little bit different. And I really loved when the author would mention something like how Serbian people lived in the past, and that was really fascinating, but not when he would be a little bit mad about how life is different now. So I think that in any case, we better remember the past with good terms in a way that we can appreciate what experiences we lived through, but we can also appreciate that the world is changing. I don't know even how many stars I would give this book because I forgot to add it to my library. But I think it's gonna be like 3.5 stars. Okay, I think that's it. That's everything I read in January 2026. First month of this new year, and I'm very excited about this year actually. And let's see how it goes. And yeah, again, this vlog was a little bit random, but I hope that the next one is going to be a little bit more interesting. So, see you soon.